Alright friends, Rap Silva here. Welcome back again to the channel. It is a great joy to be here. Please subscribe to the channel, support us. It will be really great so I can keep making those videos. Today I want to talk a little bit about three softwares that I've been using to create some projection mapping. I'm going to discuss a little bit about the softwares. I will not dive into showing how to use them more precisely in projection mapping, but I want to just discuss a little bit about each one of them. For I've been using quite a while in a lot of projects. Please double check. There's a project here that I'm gonna show an image, a project that I created a year and a half, so I'm gonna be discussing those three softwares. Okay, right now I'm working on my Mac Studio. For this, I have a camera. That's a camera that I'm looking at now. I have a dedicated monitor connected to the Mac Studio. As well, I have a projector lighted up in my studio that needs some work. Okay, so I'm going to show a little bit multiple images and discuss a little bit about this three software. All right, so without any further ado, so right here you guys can see there are three softwares here. There's the logo type, there's the VPT, MadMapper, and TouchDesigner. So I would like to start a little bit with VPT. I've been working with this software for a very long time. So I encountered VPT all the way back in undergrad school. I needed to create a project, and I briefly used VPT during the project, but it didn't work really well. But it was in graduate school during my MFA that I needed a software for projection mapping. So if you don't know what projection mapping is pretty much when you there's so many types of projection mapping, but it's pretty much, to try to briefly explain, it's pretty much when you grab a video or an image, and again, very easy explanation. You connect the computer to a projector, and the image, you project the image on a very specific place. For example, if you have a box, you want to project the image perfectly on the box. If you have any sphere, you want to create a projection that fits perfectly on that sphere. If you have a very intricate object with edges and four and different types of parts, you can create an image that you actually can project perfectly on that object. So there are many softwares that you can use it to create a projection mapping. So these are the three softwares that I've been using. I personally have been using these softwares, and there's a lot of pros and cons with them, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the pros and cons, and I will tell a little bit some of solutions that I found that it has been working for me. Okay. For the things that I do, and I do well. Okay. All right, so going back to VPT. So VPT is a very small software. I'll show the interface of it right now. So this is what VPT look like. Okay. So VPT is a free software. The software is developed by another software called Max. And Max is a very similar software to TouchDesigner. Man, I've been working with Max for forever. Max pretty much is a well-known software that works with nodes, similarly to TouchDesigner. But so this is the interface of what VPT look like. Okay, so there's some sections for videos, audios. There's two windows here that shows the image that you were working on. So I mean, it's really, really, really great software. It's free and it is really small, but very, very, very powerful software. Okay, so again, software is developed with Macs. Okay, I used this software to create some projection mapping in the past. So again, recommend a VPT. Another software that I really used a lot, it's MadMapper. So MadMapper this is the interface of MadMapper, is a really well-known pro software. It's, folks who are working professionally. I mean, you don't need to be professionally, but folks who are working professionally, usually artists, all sort of video makers, they use MadMapper. Most likely is the most well-known professional software. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It is kind of an investment. You buy it. That's a software that we can work with. And look their websites. Their websites is just great. There's tons of resources. That's Mad Laser. I mean, you can work with so many different types of devices connected to the software. I mean, there's a really nice library already into MadMapper that you can explore. I mean, you can connect many, many projectors into it. I mean, this is just great. Okay, it's an investment. Here I have TouchDesigner, which is a very, very trendy software. Okay, in the last couple of years, that designer become this. There's a huge community of makers working in TouchDesigner. Very, very powerful software that pretty much encompasses everything that MadMapper and VPT has. Okay, it does. There is a free versions of the software that you pretty much can do a bunch of things, and then there's a paid version of TouchDesigner. And I used TouchDesigner to teach college classes a few years ago. My students created pretty amazing projects with TouchDesigner. As well, students used VPT. My students use VPT as well to create projects because it's free. MadMapper, on the other hand, it's always good to get into discounts, especially at Thanksgiving, Christmas. They give pretty decent discounts. I think it's about $400 around the price of the software. The price of it. TouchDesign is not very expensive, but definitely a good investment. And again, VPT is free. All right, so this is a little bit about these softwares, and these are softwares that I use and been working right here. As you can see, TouchDesigner is on right now. It's working. I will show a little bit. What I mean. What do I mean by projection mapping? I'm going to show a little bit a projector in a second. Okay. All right. So, what are the pros of these softwares? Okay. What are the pros of it? Working with them. Okay. What are the pros? So, for me personally, for the projects that I create, my video pieces, I will show one here right now for you. So my video pieces, this one here. So this project here, I created for the Museum of Contemporary Arts in Arlington, Virginia, a year and a half ago. Okay, so I had some monitors pieces, wall pieces with animations, and this particular piece here, there's a tablet here. This particular piece here is animated. Okay, so that's animation, and this is the form of the wall. There in this exhibition there were a bunch of projection mapping, and I highly recommend you guys to see the documentation in my website. But this was designed and animated in animation software and the dimensions of it was perfectly based on the architecture of the space, but still I needed to map getting the edges very, very perfectly. So what this projection mapping does is you can map edge to edge, corner by corner of anything. Okay, so the projection fitted perfectly here and created a sense of depth into the space. So this turned out really, really, really good. And this object here is animated. There is a tablet here, and that's an augmented reality piece. But again, I was using projection mapping software. I was able to very, very nicely and perfectly map the architecture of the space. And I did this with a big window in the front of the space, which inside the museum there's a big window. I mapped another projection on a window. Yeah, so look at the images, it's really nice. There's also a really nice article on Be More Arts, which is a creative venue in Baltimore, Maryland. So again, so this is a projection mapping piece, okay. So again, I use those softwares. Yes, I use the softwares VPT, MadMapper, and TouchDesigner to map the videos that I create. Okay, so that's kind of pretty much what I do. Again, most of my work, it's so perfectly. I like to create work for the architecture of the spaces where I create my exhibitions, and there's no way just to load a video piece and just project the video piece on a wall. That will not do the job. Okay, so I need projection mapping software to do the job. So I've been using lately mostly TouchDesigner and MadMapper, to create those things. But VPT, on and off, it comes handy to do those things too. But I got really well versed with TouchDesigner and MadMapper. All right. So the pros is these softwares will do the job for you. You want a projection map in anywhere, it will just do the job for you. It will do the job well. Okay, you will be able to project on anything very specifically and very precisely. All right, what's the cons of this? Okay, now, so again, wonderful exhibition, work perfectly. Okay. All right, so what's the cons of this, what I found of working with projection mapping software? In my case, precisely, okay. So, well, go back a little bit to the pros, very quick. So, I've noticed over the years that a lot of folks who use these softwares, whatever they are showing their video pieces, okay, I have the impression that most of the people that are working video works, projection mapping works, they stay at the venue manipulating the videos, okay? If, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours presentation, okay? But they stay there with the computer, in front of the computer manipulating, okay, the video. One of the reasons why I think is that, there's various reasons, but one of the reasons is that those softwares, they work on a constant loop. It's almost like a generative software that keep creating on a constant loop, okay? So when you have a software that's in a constant loop, okay, looping constantly, non-stop, there is a problem into this, that I encounter and I was able to fix, which that's the cons in my case, okay? Because I don't stay in front of the software, in the front of the computer, manipulating the image during the exhibitions, I pretty much projection map and leave the works there and go home. because I don't stay there watching my computer just in case things turns off or there's a glitch or the software turns off, okay, closes. Because I don't do that. I noticed that um, there's a huge risk that for me it's the cons of these softwares. And the risk is that uh, the software is too dependent of the hardware. Okay, if you have a supercomputer, for example, Mac Studios, all those really powerful computers, to run the software and live there, looping, okay, there's a high probability that the software will not close because there is a very powerful hardware sustaining the ongoing loop for, I don't know, 8 hours. If that's a museum, the time the museum open to the time that it closes. Okay. Most of the time, people, they don't turn off the computer. They just turn off the screen, and the computer stays on. So, this software will definitely consume some power of any computer, especially depending on um, the type of project you're running into. So in my case, when I say some of the cons of this is that some of my projects turned off in exhibitions. You know that I was running a TouchDesigner or a MadMapper or VPT. I let the computer running there throughout the days, and the museum and the gallery called me and say, hey, Joab, the projection is off, is not running, or I only can see the desktop of your computer. So that happens sometimes. And for me, that's a cons. I was even working with a very powerful computer, but there is still a glitch into the software. And mainly because this constant loop, this generative thing, it's taking power from the hardware. So I found that very problematic, okay? Very, very problematic for me. It's a very powerful, very professional software, but in my case, it became too dangerous for me to leave the softwares on. So the way that I solve those problems, I'm gonna show those problems. I solved that problem, and perfect things are really perfect now. So I solved those problems. I'm gonna create some videos into that, how you're gonna do it with TouchDesigner, MadMapper, VPT. Pretty much the video is the same thing, but I will create a video showing how to actually create a projection mapping, how to do it in those three softwares. But I was able to solve that problem in my case. But again, the pros of this is that if you are able to stay there on a venue, running your project, it's amazing. Which I see a lot of people staying there, manipulating their videos and creating different effects and do all that type of stuff. But if you're not able to stay at a venue, running your projection mapping project, be aware. Okay, be aware. You might find problem. And again, in future videos, I'm gonna show how to solve those problems. Okay, but without any further ado, again, these are, if you're new to projection mapping, these are a great place to go. I highly recommend you to start with those three softwares. You can download MadMapper. You can download that for free, but it has a watermark. But I highly recommend you download those three softwares and play with them, okay? Be patient, I'm gonna send my video, but there's a lot of videos into projection mapping with those three softwares, but soon I'm gonna upload the videos with them. But again, without any further ado, I wanna show to you my camera, okay? My camera that is, that I'm working with a projector, okay? So let me just show here. So I have a video here right now. I'm working with TouchDesigner, and I have a projector right here connected to it. Okay, I'm working with a ViewSonic projector, low short throw projector. Okay, this is in full screen right now. with TouchDesigner. So pretty much uh, projection mapping is when you grab your image and you manipulate the image this way. When you grab the image and you manipulate the image this way on a spot, and you can attach this image to absolutely anything that you want to attach to it. For example, if I have a box here, let me just grab a pillow. I have a pillow right here. Okay, have a little fun. Let me just put this pillow on top of something. Let's see, right there. If I have a pillow here, let me just put the pillow right here. Found a good spot. If I have the pillow, let's see. Actually, I have it. Let me see something here. Right there, it's gonna get a little bit. Right there. If I have a pillow here, I can go ahead and I can add this image very nicely inside of that pillow, and I'll find the edges of it. So projection mapping works sort of this way. Okay, you find its spot. I'm gonna go down a little bit, and I find the edges of the pillow. So you can see I can add the image very nicely inside of the pillow. Okay, so again, you can manipulate the image in pretty much any way that you want to. You can add points, different types of points into the different types of points in an image. Again, you can really have a very specific type of form. So again, okay, so you can see that's kind of pretty much how projection mapping works. Okay, I mean, you can cut the image, you can do so many things, but you usually grab the edges of it, of the image, and manipulate the image in any way that fits what you need to do. Okay, so that's pretty much this short intro on projection mapping. I really recommend you guys to whatever you think that will be useful for you, whatever software you I mean, there's a bunch of software in projection mapping, but I highly recommend you to download the softwares and just play with them. I'll look some tutorials out there on YouTube, but pretty soon I'm gonna dive in each one of them, and I'm show how to create some cool projection mapping projects with them. Okay, again, thanks for stopping by the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and stay tuned. More videos will come. Okay, thank you so much. All right, have a good one.